I draw something up, or I see something which fascinates the eye, or it hits you, and then I draw it, and then I see whether it could be built. When I first started, and I've only been in the arts for 2 years, I started with cutouts, making hexagrams, and cutouts which they call snowflakes. And then after I did that, I didn't find it too absorbing and very challenging, so I decided to draw in three-dimensional, or isometrics. And then from that I said, gee, this looks kind of interesting, so I'll see if I can build it. And I started building, as you can see some of the exhibits here. And then they got more and more involved and more intricate. So I guess the metamorphosis of my art is the way I started doing it also. Get an idea, draw it, see how it can be built, see how it can be put together, see how intricate it is. And just to expand on that a little, as I go forward, it gets more and more intricate and more involved, each piece that I make.
My ideas come from outside, from nature, from different pieces of machinery, from thoughts, from everyday life. And just the forms and shapes that I see every day, or a shadow that happens on a building by a sign, may trigger a thought in my head.
What I'm doing now is primarily mathematical, because you have to have a good sense of geometry, trigonometry, and of course the algebra to be able to solve the problems.
There's got to be creative people to come up with ideas and figure out stuff when there isn't a blueprint, and you need to make this and this work together. And there's a lot of people that can't do that unless they're being told what to do.
To some degree, it's like Buckminster Fuller. If you're familiar with the geodesic caricatures of his particular type of structure. Because even though it's made out of paper, it's still quite robust. The only ones that aren't robust, essentially, are the ones that I thread with fine gold thread or black thread.
I gather a lot of parts and pieces that I use in my sculptures from scrap yards, junk yards, or from some businesses that I also use when I buy steel also. They'll have leftover stuff.
I've done penguins, which lends itself very nicely, just the body itself. I don't have that exhibited here. I also have an owl, which lends itself, because I look at it, I said, my God, I can put a hexagram for the body and a hexagram for the head, and it'll look just like and I can put the wings, 2 hexagrams at right angles, and it'll look just like the wings. And the same thing, like some flowers, like a sunflower, would be a perfect example of what you can do with a hexagram. Of course, you can do that with an octagram and a decagram also, the 10-pointed. And then the turtle would also look very good. See? So I see these things, then I draw it up, and then I see how well to put it together.
I don't want to tell you that you're seeing a greenhouse, because you could be seeing a green money pit instead of a greenhouse. So I don't want to tell somebody that that piece is called, you know, a ladder or stairway to heaven. I want them to, you know, if somebody says that's what it reminds them of it, I'm like, that is great.
Each piece, as I'm finished, I'm already visualizing the next piece.
I've found with my you know, creative ability and my creative thought process that I really need to get one thing done. It may not be patinaed and all, you know, finished with all the burrs and everything clean and soft edges on it. But I really need to have one thing done, because I can lose a train of thought pretty easy. Because, like I said, you know, as I'm building one piece, there's 17 other ones that come to mind that I'm like, oh, like this, like this, like this.
I've got 19 pieces here, and I've got 10 pieces at home, and I've already got 10 pieces that I'm proposing, which I want to make what I would call the ultimate tetrahedron, which is a 4-faced polyhedron. It's a four-faced, and there's one of them inside there also. And I've got a grandiose idea how I can really make it lattice work and everything else. And there are so many things that I want to do with the file folders that, nah, I'm not interested in painting or any other medium or any other form of art. I got too many things to do with folding paper.
You know, the one that I really, really, really like at the show is a smaller maquette, and it has a piece of stone with a couple of, the piece of metal is kind of mirroring the piece of stone with like a little half moon cut out of each of the piece of stone and the piece of metal. And I really, really enjoy that piece. That one's really, you know, there's the darkness and the lightness of the stone, and just the two pieces together really appeal to me. You know, there's a natural element and kind of a man-made element there too. One of the biggest pieces I ever did was probably about 3 foot by 17 feet, and it was a two-piece sculpture that I had to assemble on site and dig a foundation for it.
It is so stress relieving that it is unbelievable. Sometimes I get up in the morning and I can hardly wait. I got several other chores to do, but I can hardly wait to finish them so I can start cutting and pasting and gluing all of this stuff together. I find that sometimes I don't even remember to eat. Of course, Rhoda reminds me that you ought to grab something to eat.
A lot of times it is a drive because I've had this idea, and it is a great feeling for me. It's very empowering, and it's very honoring to have an idea and to figure out how to make it work, which is sometimes figuring out that it's not going to work, and then you have to rearrange or redesign, and then actually building it and having it work, and then going, wow, I did that. You know, it's from your brain to actually being a physical thing, and it's a really great feeling doing that. You got to have some spice in your life, and you got to, hopefully you do, and something means something to you. Turn off the TV once in a while, set the cell phone down, and do something. Anybody can do this. Anybody. Girl, boy, old, young, it does not matter. If you've done it ever before, if you haven't done it.
Everybody can express himself in one form or another. And fortunately, I found this because this really excites me. I mean, when I say, look at this, look at the way these two angles came together. Isn't that beautiful? And for my own satisfaction, it is just magnificent.